Coming up on Fulton Today, need to know the facts about the rules for annexation? We'll have important information just ahead. And the deadline to register to vote in the May 20th primary is fast approaching. We'll have details on where to register and where to vote. Fulton Today is next. Welcome to Fulton Today, everybody. I'm Shania Chavis. Residents in the remaining unincorporated area of the county want to know their rights when it comes to annexation. The concerns come following the Georgia General Assembly's failure to approve a referendum that would have created a city of South Fulton. So what is annexation and what are citizens' rights? Here now to tell us all about it is Michelle McCauley. She is the Assistant Director of Community and Planning. Michelle, welcome back to Fulton Today.
Hi, Shania. Thanks for having me.
So, Michelle, we're asking this question because we got a couple of calls and emails on our feedback line, and they wanted to know what annexation was, and they wanted to know what changes when a property is annexed.
An annexation, in its simplest definition, is basically how a city grows its boundaries, taking an area that's outside of the city limits and bringing it within the city. And what that means to the property owner or the resident is the provider of their local services changes.
And Michelle, can any property be annexed?
There's one critical threshold that must be met in order for a property to be annexed, and that is it has to be contiguous, which is a legal definition, meaning that you have to have property abuts a city limits. If property does not abut a city limit, then it cannot be annexed.
And can a person be annexed into a city without their permission?
Okay, in the state of Georgia, there are three primary methods to annexation, and the state regulates these. And the first method is the 100% method, which means that everyone who owns property and desires to be annexed signs the application and submits it to the city. And the second method, which is called the 60% method, landowners in an area, and that's usually a larger area to be annexed, sign a petition or sign an application with the city to be annexed. Now, in this case, think of it as a donut in the most simplest terms. A group of property owners want to be annexed into the city, and they are contiguous to that city. But you live in the middle of that donut. You're the donut hole, okay? And you do not want to be annexed. Well, because the state of Georgia does not allow you to create an unincorporated island or an area of the county that's surrounded completely by a city, your property could be swept in, and that would be a way that you, as a property owner, could be annexed without your permission. Now, you will be notified. The state requires notification in all forms of annexation. Now, the last form of annexation is called referendum, and that's when a city initiates an application for annexation, and this is when an area is developed or a larger area. In that case, there's a public hearing, there's public notification, and the city passes a resolution where there's a vote that's held, and if the majority of the property owners in that area to be annexed agree to it, then again, you could be annexed without your permission. You will be notified, but if the larger majority of people within that area want to be annexed, then that annexation will move forward.
And let's talk about Fulton County's role. Can the county stop an annexation?
Yes, Fulton County can stop an annexation, and here's what the state provides. Once an application is filed for annexation, they have to provide notice to the county within 5 days. Once Fulton County has received that notice, we have 30 days with which the Board of Commissioners can object to an annexation. And that's the only way that Fulton County can stop an annexation. And we have to have grounds for the objection, and the grounds would be based on whether the use that's being proposed by the city for the development on that property is significantly different than what Fulton County would allow.
And Michelle, here was a major question that they had. How can communities know if their area is being considered for annexation?
In the state of Georgia, notification is required before an annexation can proceed forward. Now, the state does not dictate how that notification takes place, and it really depends on the method that the city is using. In the case of the 100% method, you would know because you were the actual signer of the application. In the 60% method or in the referendum method, you will be notified by the city, and there will be a public hearing that takes place. In addition, there will be ads placed in the newspaper. There won't necessarily be signs or banners, but you will receive some sort of notification from the city inviting you to participate in a public hearing process.
And finally, Michelle, explain to everybody what an unincorporated area is.
Okay, it's very confusing sometimes to the residents of South Fulton. Let me just first say that there's only one portion of unincorporated in Fulton County, and that is South Fulton. Everything north of the city of Atlanta is within a municipal boundary. So if you live in unincorporated, first of all, you live in South Fulton County. And here's where the confusion lies. Everyone who lives in South Fulton has a mailing address that has a city name attached to it. So you may live in unincorporated, but your mailing address says East Point, College Park, Fairburn, Palmetto, any of the South Fulton cities. That's how your mail is delivered, but it does not mean that's the service provider. So it can be quite confusing. And the first question when you call Fulton County, we're going to ask you is, do you live in unincorporated? And that does not mean where's your mail addressed to. It means who's the provider of your local services. Another important factor to consider is the school district. When annexing, if it's an annexation by the city of Atlanta, the school district will change for those children, meaning that they will now go to City of Atlanta schools and no longer go to Fulton County schools. However, if the annexation takes place with any other municipality in Fulton County, then those school districts will not change because Fulton County is the school provider for all students outside of the city limits of Atlanta.
Michelle McCauley, always great information. Thank you so much for explaining all of that, and thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Now, got questions of your own for our community and planning team? Contact their office to get first-hand information on the process and on any petitions that may have been filed with their office. Residents learn how to take a more active role in keeping their community safe by becoming a court watcher. FGTV's Priscilla Ortega has details now on the DA's program and how others can get involved.
Shania, about 50 concerned residents packed a courtroom at the Fulton County Courthouse on a Saturday morning. It was all part of a special court watch event that explained the local justice system and showed how court watchers can help make our streets safer. A sheriff, police, judge, prosecutors, and the district attorney, some of the county's top officials are pushing residents to become court watchers.
When a crime happens in a neighborhood, it affects everybody. It affects home values. More importantly, it affects lives. It affects marriages.
Court watchers can help stop repeat offenders by attending court proceedings and voicing their concerns about how a defendant negatively impacted their community. Jackson Faw has been a court watcher for years. He's seen firsthand how it can impact a criminal's sentence.
When the judge hears those things and sees people in person testifying to the damage that's caused by this crime, the judge is going to be stiffer in their sentencing, period.
Sheriff Ted Jackson also told court watchers how they try to stop the rotating door at the jail. The jail offers GED, culinary, and floor technician programs to inmates.
Because that's one of the problems for most of our inmates. They're uneducated, they have no skills, so they engage in crime. So we've developed some programs.
The sheriff's office also wants residents who can help released inmates find jobs or housing to reach out to them. They are also looking for mentors. To schedule a mini Court Watch training in your area or to learn more about Court Watch, you can email courtwatch@fultoncountyga.gov. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Priscilla Ortega.
Thank you very much, Priscilla. The 2014 election season is just around the corner. The push to get voters registered will soon end. That's because the registration deadline is April 21st.
A voter does not need any photo identification at all to register to vote. You are going to be asked, along with every other voter, for a photo ID when you go to cast your ballot on primary day or election day. But you can register without those things.
You can register at county elections offices in downtown Atlanta, the North Service Center on Roswell Road, or the South Service Center on Stonewall Tell Road. You can also register at county libraries and the Department of Driver Services. Early voting starts April 28th and runs through May 16th. This year, the county is making the process even more convenient by opening 19 voting locations and extending early voting hours.
We are extending early voting hours, particularly the last week of early voting, which is May 12th through May 16th. And voting during that week will be available 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We want to give voters the infrastructure and the convenience that they need to cast their votes conveniently.
If you need more information about the voting process, you can call the Fulton County Registration and Elections Office or go to the Secretary of State website. North Fulton leaders get an up-close look at the county jail. The current class of Leadership Sandy Springs took a tour of the Rice Street facility.
Come on over this way, please.
From a stop at the intake area where offenders are processed,
once the officer come in, the inmates in here, they take the paperwork to the desk to make sure everything is clear.
to the medical unit and the property room and bonding division. The tour gave the visitors a better understanding of the day-to-day operations of the county jail.
We really like having community groups coming out to see the internal workings of the Fulton County Jail so that they can make up their own minds as to whether or not their tax dollars are being spent wisely and that we're doing the job that we're constitutionally required to do.
The group even stopped by the kitchen services area.
Y'all come on down, please.
Last stop was the food service unit where more than 2 million hot meals and over 70,000 cold sandwiches are prepared for inmates. Elementary school students are invited to create their own concept of the law and the American legal system. It's all a part of the county's Law Day Art Contest. This year's theme is Every Vote Counts.
Law Day is important for students because it's an opportunity for students to begin to get exposed to the role that laws and lawyers have in our lives. It's because of laws and lawyers that we have public schools, that we have airbags in cars and cleaner air, etc. And kids really don't start worrying about that till they're grown up, and this is a chance for them to get exposed to some of the good things about the law early on.
Students in grades K through 5 can submit one drawing, painting, or collage about what this year's theme means to them. Students in grades 6 through 8 can submit a video highlighting the importance of voting.
The age range for the art competition this year is K through 8. That's an expansion. We've done K through 5 before, and that's been limited to the drawings, the art. Here, we wanted to bring in slightly older students, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, middle students in the public schools in Fulton County. And to engage them more, we thought, why not let them use the technology they're familiar with, which is making little videos with their phones or their cameras or whatnot. And that way they could incorporate adults who are probably in a better position to say, here's what voting rights mean to me. And so that's what we're encouraging them to do, is to reach out to someone they know or care about, to have that person or those people explain the importance of voting rights to them. But it's the kids who are the producers and the directors of those documentaries.
Prizes will be awarded to the top winners in each grade category, but you'd better act fast. The deadline to submit your art is April 18th. The winners will be recognized during the county's Law Day ceremony May 1st at Fulton County Juvenile Court. You can get more information on where to send your artwork by contacting Erica Marshall-Story at the number right there on your screen. And still to come, hundreds of books are donated to middle schools in South Fulton. It's a part of our district-by-district coverage next.
You're watching Fulton Today.
Dozens of young men and women are encouraged to stay on the right track, and residents can soon sound off to their county leaders about issues that concern them. Here's this week's district-by-district coverage. We begin with Chairman John Eves, who recently spoke to students at Camp Creek Middle School to motivate them to be the best they can be. The District 1 at-large commissioner visited the school during his month-long school book drive. Not only did the chairman help to raise more than 1,000 books for Fulton County schools, he also had a chance to encourage students.
I talked with about 50 8th and 7th and 6th graders who were selected to come and have a conversation with me about school, the importance of academic excellence and peer pressure and not resorting to criminal activity. So it was a great exchange, great dialogue, a lot of energy, and I wanted to share from them my perspective that I'm concerned and want to support them as a group, and we had a great time today.
It's such a wonderful job of presenting reality situations to our young men. We talked about their purpose, their role, and making sure that they're focused on college, and the idea of how can we do better as a community and how can we offer more supports.
In addition to Camp Creek Middle School, books were also donated to Taylor Road Middle School, Hamilton Holmes Middle School, and Heritage and Thomasville Heights Elementary Schools. In District 5, Commissioner Emma I. Darnell hosted a special meeting for the Aviation Community Cultural Center Advisory Committee. The Vice Chair wanted to share information with the group on the status of the project. The center will be a community meeting venue complete with programs for seniors, the youth, and the arts community, and aviation training opportunities. In addition, the facility on the property of the county's Brownfield Airport will also feature an exhibit that honors the history of North American aviation. The Community Advisory Committee has been a part of the process since the inception of the center.
It is indeed wonderful and exciting to be able to come together with the committee tonight that helped us on our first meeting and our first initiation of this project. And once again, they have given us the kind of feedback and the kind of information that we need to make this project truly not one from the top down, but one from the bottom up.
I think it is outstanding. I think it is an opportunity for us as African American aviators to tell our story. Hopefully we can tell our story better than anyone else, and we have plenty of stories to tell.
The 16,000 square foot facility was funded by the American Recovery Investment Act. The center's grand opening is scheduled for May 15th at 10 a.m. at 3900 Aviation Circle. District 6 Commissioner Joan Garner partners with the county's Children and Youth Division to host the 2014 Youth Symposium. Titled, Don't Touch the Fire, the 6-hour summit was held at the Hyatt Regency in downtown Atlanta. Students from various metro schools heard firsthand from former inmates and gang members about poor choices and consequences. They also heard from lawyers, elected officials, and educators about making right decisions.
The young people here today and their energy is so exciting. I'm very hopeful about people using this as a way to just get grounded and to know that there are people out there who care about them, their parents, their teachers, their relatives, and most importantly, that Fulton County government cares about their lives.
This is such an important symposium. We have young people who are making poor choices. And like the old days, we would want to take them to the jails and to the prison and scare them straight. Not today. That doesn't work for our children today. Today, we're going to have to embrace them, meet them where they are, and direct them, guide them to start thinking differently so that they can make better choices. So that's why this is so important.
The Youth Symposium is one of many events coordinated by the Children and Youth Division. Contact their office to get additional details. And finally, District 7 Commissioner William Bill Edwards announces the date for the next quarterly listening session. On May 22nd at 7 p.m., South Fulton residents can come face-to-face with county officials to express their concern about any topic. The meeting will be held at the South Fulton Service Center on Stonewall Tell Road in College Park.
We've been doing the listening sessions for many years. It's an absolute good vehicle for conversation, feedback between me and the constituents of District 7. So it has been one that has been of great importance to us.
During the listening session last quarter, residents were concerned about the South Fulton cityhood legislation. The commissioner fully expects residents to ask questions this time about any potential annexations. Now you can catch more of your commissioners at work all this week with a rebroadcast of the Board of Commissioners meeting right here on FGTV. And still to come, putting an end to TB in the county. We'll explain what county health professionals are doing when we come back.
You're watching Fulton Today.
An update now on the status of tuberculosis in the county. As you may recall, a few years ago, the numbers of TB cases were going up in Georgia. Well, now those numbers are going down. FGTV's Lynn Vaughn explains what the county is doing to help with that trend.
TB dead! Signs, chants, and a symbolic march around the Aldridge Health Center. Those were the sights and sounds as dozens rallied to mark World Tuberculosis Day.
We had a goal to eliminate TB by 2013. We haven't quite attained that, but we are getting close to that.
So the cases went up in 2012, but we had a decrease of 5.6% in 2013 for an average of 3.4 per 100,000.
Dr. Van der Ende, who oversees the communicable disease branch in Fulton County's Health and Wellness Department, says symptoms can be subtle. They include a cough that lasts 3 weeks or more, coughing up blood, having a fever, night sweats, and weight loss.
Fulton County offers a lot of resources for people with TB. We often get cases referred to us from primary care physicians and hospitals. We provide field officers that go out and give medications, and we trace contacts. So if somebody has tuberculosis, we make sure that their entire family is treated and made aware of that tuberculosis outbreak.
TB is airborne and is more prevalent in homeless shelters, prisons, and nursing homes.
The good thing is that not everybody who's exposed to TB would develop TB disease. It's only about 10%, but we don't know who those 10% are going to be.
If not treated properly, tuberculosis can be fatal, so contact a doctor if you think you have been exposed to TB. Reporting for FGTV, I'm Lynn Vaughn.
Thank you very much, Lynn. County leaders are showing nursing homes how to prepare for an emergency. From winter storms like we saw this year to other natural disasters, the Health and Wellness Department is reaching out to the community to give some tips.
Fulton County Health and Wellness and the nursing home community are considered as preparedness partners. So it's important that they keep the relationship alive, stay connected, ensure that public health is available for any type of questions that they may have in response to any type of emergency.
During recent meetings with nursing home owners, the county informed them about services like 21st Century Communications, which is an automated calling system that provides emergency information to those who sign up for the service. And Southern Link is another tool which uses radio technology to reach users when cell phones, internet, and landlines are down. Several medical studies have proven that stress can affect your body, your mood, and your behavior. Those who attended a free workshop at the county's Buckhead Library learned how meditation can be an easy stress reliever.
It brings peace, relaxation, happiness, love, and so those qualities start coming out in us when we meditate.
The host offers simple but powerful techniques that could greatly improve your quality of life. According to the Mayo Clinic, stress can cause headaches and body aches and lead to sleepless nights. It can also affect your behavior and lead you to over or undereat. And still to come, fun and healthy options to keep your child active this summer. Stay with us.
You're watching Fulton Today.
Staying active and improving social skills are just two ways spring and summer camp can help children. This week, the county's Parks and Recreation Department is having its spring break camp where children are making new friends and exercising in a fun way. There will also be summer camps at 4 locations starting in June.
The kids get an opportunity to come out and have good, wholesome, clean, recreational fun, and also give the parents a chance to have the kids involved in some type of recreational activity.
I think kids should come to Fulton County Summer Camp for the fun, the enjoyment, the friendship, just a wonderful social environment that we established for them.
Fulton Employees Association also hosted a summer camp registration event at the Government Center. A number of organizations, including 4-H and the Young Chef Academy, gave out information about available programs. Now, to register for the Parks and Recs Summer Camp, call the parks directly at the numbers on your screen. You can sign up for a week at a time with prices starting at $75 a week per child. And finally, ready to make sure that you have the best lawn in the neighborhood? The county's cooperative extension agents are teaching people how. During a presentation, residents learned the best way to plant shrubs, trees, and grow vegetables. They learned that after April 15th is the best time to plant vegetables like tomatoes, sweet peppers, because that's typically after the last freeze. Residents were also warned not to use chemicals unless absolutely necessary.
Don't use chemicals unless you have to use chemicals. Don't use fertilizer unless you do a soil test. The soil test will tell you exactly what your soil need. And spend a lot of time in the garden.
Other tips, make sure the area you plant receives at least 6 to 8 hours of sunlight a day. Now you can get information about free gardening classes at the library's website. And before we go, our reminder that we'd like to hear from you about the stories and programs right here on FGTV. Go to our website to take a survey or email or call us. The number 404-612-8317. The email address is fgtv.feedback@fultoncountyga.gov. You can also follow us on twitter.com/FGTV, find us on Facebook, and watch us on YouTube. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. I'm Shania Chavis. Thank you for watching. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.